Let's talk about that, baby. You can't even snap. You can't even snap. Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, and today I do want to talk about something very personal, something that most Americans go through, I'm pretty sure most of the world goes through, and that is debt and trying to be debt free or using debt to your advantage, whatever it is that the rich say. So I just want to talk about, I do want to have like this space where we kind of talk about debt and just finances in general and what we're doing, what we're doing to build our finances as people, as normal middle class people in America, because anyone living in this economy who has bills to pay, even I myself, who I still live at home with my parents, so I am so very, very blessed that I don't have to pay like a mortgage, rent, all these things. But anyone else who, but even I feel it. Like we're all feeling this crash in economy, and it's not a good place right now. Everything is super expensive. Cost of living is so expensive. Groceries, literally anything that you want to buy, the price skyrocketed. Housing skyrocketed. Rent skyrocketed. Gas has been at an all-time high. Like even for my regular gas, it's almost $4 a gallon, which here in Florida, that's a lot. I think the premium has already hit the four. I think I've seen a few fives, to be honest with you. But so yeah, trying to get ahead in this economy with the pay not rising as quickly as inflation has become a thing. It's been really hard. So I want to get on here and basically share how I've tackled debt in the past and how I'm planning on tackling my debt as of now, because I'm not debt free yet, but I will be soon. Or at least my part of the debt will be covered soon, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So my first debt that I got as an adult was my car. So I bought a used Toyota Corolla. It was 2017 and it was a year old at the time, and whoever bought it and had it put like 78,000 miles on it. So it was, I don't know if it was an Uber car or what, but they packed on the miles just that first year alone. So benefit for me, it did bring it down the value. And I do want to preface, I went into the dealership needing a car. It's not that I just wanted a new car or a nicer car. My first car was a Honda Accord 2002 that my parents had bought me, and that car became like a complete lemon. It just was not a good car. It was cute. It got me where I needed to go for a little while, but it just kept busting down on me. And one day it literally stopped working as I was driving it. Like I had stopped at a stoplight and it just did not move. So we came up and because of that, my dad, my mom, and me all decided that this was no longer a safe vehicle for me to get where I needed to go via work and college at the time. And so we needed another car, and I needed one ASAP. So we ended up going to a few dealerships. We went to Nissan. I think we went to Kia. A lot of people tried selling me Kias, like little hamster cars. And we ended up going to Toyota Corolla because all the other deals were absolute BS. They were trying to play me because I was young. And thank God I had my parents there, because my dad plays with these people in their face and it's hilarious to watch. But so basically we got the car for way cheaper than it was. We ended up trading that busted up Honda, and they gave us $7,000 in that value. So that car, the Toyota Corolla, would have been around $17,000, and because they gave me, I think it was like 5 to 7,000 credit on the Honda we were trading in, it brought the price down to $13,000. And so my parents put 3 down on that car for me, and then once I got my job, then I would take over the payments essentially. We got a great, I mean, to me that was a great deal on the vehicle. My dad haggled the absolute hell out of them, and so I owe $10,000 on this car. I finally start working. I started working in dialysis. I was making a little bit more than I had worked at my other job. Still not a lot, but definitely not minimum wage anymore. So I had some money to spare. And so I told my mom when I got the keys to my car, hey, I'm going to pay off this car super fast, so I'm not even going to have to worry about it. I'm going to be so responsible with my money. A few months passed and I was just making the minimum payments. And my mom came out to me and she was like, you literally said you were going to pay this off faster, so what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You're playing with yourself right now. And I was like, you're right, I got to lock in. And that's exactly what I did. I was putting $800 of my paycheck every 2 weeks into the car, so I was paying $1,600 a month, and I ended up paying off that car in 10 months after buying it. So like I said, I did a few months where I didn't do anything, and then I locked in and just threw every single thing I had at the car. I still paid for gas, still paid for insurance, all those things on my own. Mind you, I was able to do that because I lived at home. I didn't have any other like big girl responsibilities like groceries, none of that stuff. So I always try to take advantage, or I have always tried to take advantage of the fact that I live with my family still. And I know, especially like at my age, it's not like people, it's like a bad stigma, or you know, people just don't expect it at my age. But at the same time, it's like I would rather just be at home than struggle out, because there's no like everything is just so bad right now. You just be struggling, and if I'm gonna struggle and pay rent and throw all my money at rent, I think, in my opinion, I would rather just buy a house. So anyways, not the point. Let's go back. So I paid off that car in 10 months. I was really frugal. I literally just went home, work, got gas, paid my insurance, and that was it. Everything else, I wasn't like shopping, I wasn't buying food out, I wasn't getting Starbucks. I was cooking at home, making my own coffees, doing everything that you're supposed to do. Paid off that car, 10 months, debt-free, $10,000 out the door. Amazing. Then I was pretty much debt-free for a while, and I was saving, and then I ended up switching my job. That was my decent paycheck to a job that would be, I was an esthetician for a while, and that job works based on commission. I started doing this job when everything was kind of, when everything was going up. Inflation was just starting to hit. I think it was like 2021 to 2022, I think, is when I started this job. And it was very apparent that inflation was hitting. The clientele was not there. The money just wasn't there. And I used up almost all of my savings. This is a job I kept through nursing school, by the way. And I ended up using almost all of the savings that I had worked so hard to save for when I was unemployed or barely working, and when I was in nursing school. I was in an accelerated program. It took me about 18-20 months to get my RN, and I basically lived off that money for gas, because my school was 30 minutes away. So it was an hour driving to and from, and I was going a lot. And then clinicals, and anyone who's gone through that experience knows that it's expensive when you're in nursing school and you don't have the time to work, essentially. And so I did not have the time to work with assignments, clinicals, everything. It just wasn't happening. So I basically lived off of that. And then like my job that I was still at, the esthetician job, was giving me like a few hundred a week or so. So not much at all. So I then basically had like not a negative net worth. I never got into the negatives, but I certainly did not have much to my name by the time I graduated nursing school. Now, by the time I graduated, I had to take out loans from Sallie Mae, good old Sallie Mae, and ED Financial. So, my gosh. I had to take out loans from Sallie Mae and ED Financial. The problem with Sallie Mae is that her interest rates are so high. I didn't look at my loans, I didn't do anything with my loans until after I graduated. And when I logged into that thing, my interest rate was 15% of my overall loan. And that was where I had majority of my loan. So that was scary. In and of itself, that was just scary, because 15% accumulates, what, $200 to $300 depending on the size of the loan, right? So for me, it was accumulating like $200-300 a month at that point already. So I was like, all right, I need to get a job ASAP, and I need to refinance ASAP. But I also had another loan with ED Financial, and that one was only like 8%, I want to say. So it's not like, definitely was less scary of a number than good old Sallie Mae over here. So my plan was to tackle the loan with the highest interest rate, because overall that saves you more money, and just kind of do like my minimum payments for the other loan. Now, when I graduated nursing school, my parents gave me the gift of $5,000 to put down on my loan, because they knew it was a lot and they wanted to help me out, and that they were so proud of me for finishing nursing school. So they were so proud of me for finishing nursing school, and that was their graduation gift to me, and I will forever be grateful. I'm so grateful to have the parents I have, and I know not everyone's able to do that, so again, super grateful for them. And then they were going to help me refinance my loan. And my dad, we were all kind of talking at the dinner table about where we can refinance, how many banks we can talk to, you know, just figuring out where to get the best interest rate. And my dad kind of looked at us and he was like, well, how much is on that loan? And I was like, oh, it's about $8,000-ish. Give or, like, definitely was almost $9,000. And so he was like, well, why don't we just write you a check for $9,000 and then you owe us the money, and you wouldn't have to pay interest. And I was like, This is genius. Yes, genius. And I look at my mom and I was like, are you down for that? And so that's what they did. They ended up covering my Sallie Mae loan for me, and I owe them the money, and I still haven't finished paying them back. So I owe my parents around almost $9,000 for their helping me, their assistance of me. And also I ended up getting LASIK eye surgery after my after I graduated, because I was sick and tired of wearing glasses, and it's something I wanted to do. So they gave me the money for that as well. So I owe my parents around $11,000. It was like 3,000 plus, 3,000 something for the LASIK. So I got $11,000 from them, and that's how much I owe them. So that's one, right? The other loan, the ED Financial, I owe about $15,000 at this time, $16,000. But my job, actually, the hospital I work for, covers 12,000 of it. So I'm gonna be responsible for about like 4,000 of it, and yeah, I think I would cover like 3 or 4,000 of that one, but I wouldn't have to worry about that one. So that's why I was saying earlier, it's not part of the loan that I'm gonna cover, because my job has that covered for me. And then I got a phone call from my school saying that I still owed them $10,000 cash, but it was okay because I didn't have to owe them interest, like at all, no interest whatsoever. So then they gave me a deal. So I owed my school almost $10,000. And they gave me a call and they're like, hey, if you pay a lump sum, we're gonna forgive $1,800 of your loan, of your debt to us. And I was like, okay, how much is the lump sum? They're like, oh, if you give us $8,000, we'll forgive the $1,800. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a great deal. Problem is, I don't have $8,000 at the moment, so I don't think I'm going to be able to make a lump sum of $8,000. If I had $8,000, I would have paid it to Sallie Mae. And so she was like, well, we can do a payment plan of 2 months, so you'd owe us $4,000 each month. And given what I make, it just wasn't realistic to give them $4,000 each month. So I was like, I don't think I can do 2 months payments, but I think I can do payments in 3 months. Would you be willing to extend it to 3 months? And she was like, okay, yeah, give me a second. Assuming she talked to whoever her supervisor was, and she came out and she was like, yeah, we can definitely do that for you. So we're gonna make a little agreement, and every time you go and pay to, like do an online payment for us, make sure you give someone a call. That way we can write it in your notes that you did the payment on time, and that way we can get this deal done for you. And that's exactly what I did. For the next 3 months, I paid them, oh, I forgot what the number was. It was like 2,700 basically is what I was paying them every month. So almost $3,000 each month. And I got my $1,800 forgiven, which huge blessing, great opportunity. I wish it was more, but $1,800, that's almost $2,000 that I didn't have to pay back. So I took that. Okay, I think those were all of the loans. Yeah, that's all of the loans that I have. So given that, so I paid off the $8,000 to my school, right? Pay that off. I've paid off myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've paid off $8,000 to my parents, so I literally just owe them $2,690. Very specific. I've been keeping a track every time I give them money. And so I owe my parents very little, so I think within the next month I should be able to get rid of that. I should definitely be able to pay them back, and that's gonna feel amazing to me. And then I'll pay back the $3,000 additional that I have on the ED Financial loan that my employer is not going to cover, and then I really don't have to think about it. I'll probably make additional like $200 a month payments on that alongside their payment that they're making, but I'm not going to stress out about it. But that would be the end of my debt. So how I'm planning on doing this is just being scrappy. I want to do a video on this overall, but what I'm talking about is doing things like Project Pan. If you haven't heard of Project Pan, I found the term on TikTok. Under consuming is also a term on TikTok, because we have so many things. Like majority of us already have everything that we need at our fingertips at our home, and we don't need to be buying new stuff. Like shopping is definitely the thing that's going to keep you in debt, because you're going to be wasting your money on random things that you don't need. Like for example, I literally have two powdered foundations. They're different colors, but I have 2 of them. I currently have 2 concealers, two foundations, 2 liquid foundations, mind you, a liquid foundation and a stick foundation. I have like 4 blushes. I have like a bunch of little lip thingies. And so one key thing that you can do, or probably the most obvious thing that you can do, is don't spend unnecessary money. So mind you, you guys, a lot of people are gonna have bills, light, water, children to take care of, food, laundry, like cleaning products. I can understand that. But so I can understand people not being able to throw quite as much like of their paycheck at their loans as I have been able to. But the key thing, but the most important and the most obvious thing you can do to get you out of debt is to stop spending money on unnecessary things. Keyword unnecessary thing. Feed yourself, feed your kids, pay your bills. Want to make that very clear. But don't spend unnecessary money. If you don't need to buy makeup, don't buy makeup. If you have a bunch of body washes and conditioners already in your shower, don't buy any more. Like, just use what you have. Like, replenish if you need something. Obviously, I don't want you guys to go without soap just because you're going on a no-buy. But replenish the things that you need and try to use up the things that you have. Like, you can get scrappy with a lot of things in your closet. You don't need new clothes, new shoes. I'm sure you have everything you need. Majority of people already do. You don't need to go shopping. No more TJ Maxx, no more Marshalls, no more Ross, no more the mall, no more wherever the hell you guys shop. Number 2 is eating at home. Eating at home. I know we don't want to hear it. I love going out to eat. My boyfriend loves going out to eat. But we're going to have to get scrappy and sacrifice for a little bit. Even though we live with our parents, like, that it's expensive to eat out. It really is. Even McDonald's is not cheap. Like, we went through the drive-thru at McDonald's one time. Last time we went to the drive-thru at McDonald's, we spent $30 on 2 people. $30, and we didn't even get a lot. Like, he got a Big Mac meal, and I got like a chicken nugget meal, and it was $30. Crazy. And they wanted to charge us extra for our sauces, and I was real mad about it, but we still had to pay it, you know? So now we're gonna have to eat at home. Shopping and getting a lot of my meal prep things from Sam's and Aldi. Those are the 2 places that I typically buy everything that I need to buy. I buy in bulk at Sam's, and I buy whatever little trinkets and things that I need from Aldi, because they're better deals in those places typically. And I try to keep an eye on like market things, so I'll go to other places if there's if there's a sale on meat or something. So I bought this giant like schlong of 90% ground beef at Sam's, 10 pounds of it. 10 pounds of 90% lean ground beef for like $56, which $56 is a lot of money, but 10 pounds of beef is a lot of beef. So I just section them up into little 10-pound portions, and I just cook it when I want. So I try to make things at home. Learning how to cook more was fun. I love cooking. I love baking. So having to kind of make yourself do it, at least for me, is fun, and get creative with what you can find in the house, again, to minimize that cost. What else can we do? Make your coffees at home. I know we're all tired of hearing that, but it really does make a huge difference. So I drink both instant coffee and I drink regular coffee. I just make it at home. I make it when I wake up, and you know what? Once you learn how to make a good cup of coffee that you like, you don't really need to go to Starbucks anymore. You can buy the syrups. You can make the syrups if you want to, but try to just do it at home, because it really does make a difference in how much you spend. Because now the drinks are like, I kid you not, a venti is $7. $7 on a drink this big. It's crazy. And it costs you like 50 cents to make it at home. The savings is unreal with just that alone. Another thing that I would do is every time I would make coffee at home by myself, is I would actually transfer that like amount, the difference of it. So say I round up my 50-cent coffee and say, okay, when I have a coffee at home, it'll cost me $1. And if I had it at Starbucks, it'll cost me $7. So I would put the difference, so $6, into my savings account until it was time for me to pay off somebody, if that makes sense. I'm talking really fast. I'm so sorry. But what else? So just doing things at home, not spending a lot of money, and just going on a no-buy, to be honest with you. Like, that's basically the first one over and over. It's just not spending money that you don't already have, because if you have debt, you're technically at like a negative net worth. And who wants to be at a negative net worth? Anyways, I digress completely. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I want to share my debt journey with you. I am almost there. I actually made this. Hi, Rhea. So I made this chain here, right? Each one of those links represent $1,000. And so that's the total debt that I currently owe, and I actually have to cut 7 or 8 of those. So this entire row here has to go away. So those are the things that I've already paid. So I just have this left over. And that should be... Okay, sorry. It cut off. Rude. But that should be pretty much all of my debt is after we cut that 7 or 8 links, I believe it is, 8 links. I did it like that because it's a visual representation of what I owe, and each time I pay off something, after I do these, I'm just going to cut a piece off, and then once we hit 0, we're going to hit 0. And then the next step for me would be saving up for a home of some kind. I would love a little space of my own that I actually own and not rent. I've never been a fan of renting. I know it's like more convenient to rent, I think, right now, especially, again, given the economy and how expensive everything is. But at the end of the day, I've always wanted something for myself, so that's what I'm going to go after, something for myself. Anyways, I think that's all I have for you guys today. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys if you made it through this video. I know it was a bit rambly, as I'm sure most of my videos are going to be because I'm just a rambler. But thank you guys so much for watching once again. Let me know if you're in any debt, how you got into it, how much is it, and where is it from? Is it auto, is it mortgage, is it student loans, which is like the most common. I feel like auto, mortgage, student loans. Those are the big 3 for debt. But I hope everyone is having a great night. It's nighttime for me. And I will see you next time in the next video. Bye.